But thank you, Ina, for presenting us, and thank you, everyone, for having us here on the stage. So today, you will hear kind of a legendary story. And as Mike, you might suspect that it is legendary because I don't have a clicker. All over again, so a legend, right? Legendary story, so it starts already weird, kind of. But it's about Helen of Troy, and it's an ancient legendary figure that kind of represented influence and power in the ancient world. And it was the face that launched 1,000 ships. But of course, here we are not to talk about myth. We will be talking about a billion-dollar brand who needed to launch not ships, but 4 e-commerce stores in a very short time that should have been scalable. So we will share this experience, and hopefully it will be one for you to learn from. And today here with me, as you know, is already presented Alex, the person who was basically the one keeping track of everyone, ensuring quality in operational things as well technical things. And he is global director of systems architecture in Helen of Troy, and helping to do this transformation in the digital world was Magebit, e-commerce agency, and here it is represented by Kristaps, co-owner of Magebit. And unfortunately, if you're counting, we have one person missing, Kadima. Unfortunately, couldn't be here due to reasons. And but he's a vice president and the main decision maker. And his decision was that we can do this. So who are we not to trust him? And now we are acquainted with the people who are telling the story, and we know that we won't be talking about the history. We will be talking about the digital world, and you can read about the myth of Helen of Troy in your own time when you get guilty about spending too much time scrolling in the social media. So when you do that, just remember this and learn about it in your day. But Helen of Troy is, once we look closer at the Helen of Troy, we actually see a lot of the names that you might already be very familiar with. And that is because it is consumer package group with a diverse portfolio and of trusted brands. And maybe, Alex, you can help me explain what exactly that is and what is Helen of Troy today.
Of course, thank you. So at Helen of Troy, we are a global enterprise and we exist in 2 categories. So it's home and outdoor category, and then beauty and wellness. You can see the brands that we have, and then we support. And then we have pretty wide digital landscape as well. So we are in a different. We use different platforms, including Adobe Commerce. Adobe Commerce, this is our main platform to do the D2C for the company, and company also does the B2B. But my team and this presentation is going to be how we transform the D2C and made sites better.
Thank you, Alex. Yeah, so just for you to understand, Helen of Troy usually operate with over 19 projects during the year. So it's quite intense and quite a load. So maybe, Alex, you can also share more about your team and how they operate and manage to do this.
Yes. So the brands that we have, they are represented by different business teams. So Hydra, Oxo, Osprey, Drybar, and then International. Those are all different business teams. But in order to deliver the platform that is unified, that we can scale quicker for all brands, there was a centralized team, a technical team created about 4 years ago when I and my boss, who is not on the stage, joined the company 4 years ago with a mission to build that one centralized platform. So all of the brands no longer do things on their own, on islands, and but they have a centralized platform that can share the capabilities, and once one brand enables the capability, another brand can benefit from that. And also within this journey, obviously, we centralized the contracts, we centralized integrations and vendors, and budget got improved because no longer we have like 4 email service providers and so on. So it was a something very critical for the company to have. And as we build this one centralized platform, it was with the efforts of the team. So the team was built around the project 4 years ago, and the team had 2 pillars. One pillar was the project management pillar. So obviously there are many communications happening, many projects to deliver. So Elina mentioned the number 90, and 90, this is a true number of projects. So we do an annual planning with all the teams kind of sitting at one table and discussing those projects, and then kind of putting them around, putting them on a timeline for the year.
So it must be quite of a meeting.
Yes. It actually, this is the time of the year we're actually going through right now to plan for the next project, and that typically takes about 1 month and a half, but it's a separate conversation probably. But anyway, so this is the challenging environment that we have. So 90 projects, so we have PM team supporting on that, and then the second pillar is the architecture teams that I lead, and we make sure that we have a platform, and then we that it can deliver all these projects, and then we support the business to make sure the platform is stable, is performant, and there are no technical challenges, and it's quite enabled for the business.
I hope you sleep well at night, because it, it seems like a lot. But yeah, so as you heard, and to sum up, Helen of Troy has quite a huge digital landscape. So a lot of different brands and multiple sites for several of them across different type of platforms. However, in 2024, they decided to migrate 4 of their stores, Hydro Flask, Osprey, Dry Bar, and Oxo, on Hyvä Venta theme in just 5 months. And maybe, Alex, you can explain why exactly 2024 for this project, and why these stores?
Yes. So the environment that the company operates in is very competitive, right? So we have, you may know, other brands that are in the similar categories is Hydro Flask or Osprey or Dry Bar. So it's very, very competitive. And as business, they're trying to beat this competition, doing the right marketing, providing better experience for consumer. From our side, from the technology, what we can do is to ensure that the digital platform has cutting edge capabilities, is fast, is performant, and is stable. Why 2024? Because the competition got really tight, and everybody at the company was trying to do their best to win the competition. And from our side, we were really slow on the page speed side of things. So we were using obviously Luma, old Adobe Commerce theme, and it had their drawbacks. So as we were building all the capabilities, that created lots of load on the front end, and the front end no longer could compete performance-wise with other brands. So for each brand we picked 2 competitors, and then we started building metrics and charts. You used Google page speed, and then we evaluated where we are comparing to other brands, and we were quite low on that scale there. So that's why 2024 was that year that we needed to fix that.
So you already also kind of outlined the main challenges, like we saw timeline, and it was hard. 4 stores, 5 months, but that wasn't the only challenge, probably, as we can see also on the screen. So maybe Alex, as a person who played the major role, helping all the teams stay coordinated, also known that a couple of calls there were also like 50 or more people, 90 people on some of the calls, because there were like more than 9 teams working on the same task at the point. But what were the main challenges you faced and how you approached them?
Yeah, so the challenge. So first of all, this project kind of came a little bit unexpected to this annual plan that we had. So at first it was, hey, your site is slow. So we actually surged the team around fixing it on Luma theme. We spent a month. We actually improved quite okay, I would say, compared to other brands, but we still were, maybe not at the end anymore on the on this comparison table that we had, but in the middle. But then what I realized because I've been working from the technical side quite a lot of time with Adobe Commerce platform. I knew that there is that fundamental piece that actually prevents us from pushing this core forward, and that was that outdated JavaScript, quite inefficient JavaScript that we actually had to replace. And we were looking around what were the alternatives, and we've been actually watching Hyvä for quite a few years already, and we kind of saw how it was growing. The community around Hyvä, and we just realized, okay, that's the time that we can jump into that. And in terms of the challenges, first of all, it was unexpected, right? Second, it was transforming the storefront for you mentioned 4 brands, but it's actually 5 because the one brand exists in US and EMEA, and there are 2 different teams. So we kind of consider internally that it's a different brand. So that was a challenge too, to transform storefronts while delivering everything else that we had on the agenda for the year. And it was major. There were major projects. One of the projects, Drybar, one of the brands, not only we were doing the Hyvä theme storefront transformation, but we actually were re-platforming this site from a different platform. At the same time, we were doing that storefront Hyvä for this brand. So it's just the number of projects, all these technical complexities, and another big challenge was the timeline. So it was March when we kind of started, when we were very decisive around, okay, we need to start doing this, but the timeline was tight because we needed to look in the code before Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and entire holidays period, right? So we only had up until maybe end of September to deliver all these projects plus deliver this re-platform.
Yeah, that's the scary time, Black Fridays. But yeah, and so 4 stores in 5 months. Kristaps, what was your response to this?
Thank you. So initially we thought, okay, this is just another challenging project that has short deadlines. And we thought, okay, we can make it. But once we started to dig in deeper, there was so many hidden rocks, like what Alex already mentioned, that it's not only like that one of probably the biggest thing was that we were not only making 4 new stores, we needed also to make sure that the previous ones don't break, because it was not like one go live for all of them at the same day. It was each of them rolling out each month. So all the previous code needed to be working. So that was quite challenging. And yeah, quite a lot of challenges with the timeline. And initially we thought that we will do Luma and Hyvä at the same time, meaning that we will have some of these pages still being Luma, so we can save some time. But luckily, we ditched that idea and move fully to Hyvä. So yeah.
And yeah, and so yeah, as we understand, Hyvä was like already decided. That was a verdict we want to go for in direction. And did Venta team that you will also have help here in the timeline setting challenge?
Yes, so yes, we use our Venta team as a base on top of Hyvä. It helped to remove some of the things, like we were able to. We didn't focus so much on my account. We actually used Venta Hyvä checkout, so we didn't need to spend a lot of time on that. And actually, checkout was a big part. We initially thought that we will stay on Luma checkout, but there were some problems with that, and luckily business and marketing approved that we can move over to Venta Hyvä checkout. So yeah, it helped to remove to reduce some of the work.
But yeah, maybe one.
Yeah, that was actually big for us because business was asking for us to implement one-step checkout. So we kind of killed two birds with one stone.
So yeah, that's all amazing. But from the technical point of view, there were probably some thoughts in your head about challenges when you heard the timeline and.
Yeah, so some challenges were also so first of all, the main priority was to get the great page speed, and page speed, like everybody thinks that if you just slam the Hyvä and everything is fixed, but that's not this case. There are, like, as you see in previous slides, there are like 80 or so integrations. There are lots of third party scripts, and when we talk to marketing team, like, hey, can something be removed? And no, nothing can be removed, everything is necessary. Not like, and for developers it's basically fix unfixable. So but yeah, we had some tricks up in our sleeves, so we knew that we can do that, but probably it will take more time.
Okay, that's interesting. And I know the kind of title of the presentation says it, but just for everyone in the audience, I want Alex to confirm, did you make the timeline?
Yes, again, so in terms of timeline, our main objective was to make sure we are all done by Black Friday, Cyber Monday. It was quite scary because, again, we're changing checkout, we're changing the storefront right before the most important season. But yes, we've done that. We actually had amazing in terms of the site stability. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, holiday season. It was great from that perspective. Yes.
Amazing. Then we know the context of the Helen of Troy. We know the context of the project. So it's probably interesting to look also for the outcomes. And one of the project goals, as Alex and Kristaps mentioned, was the page speed, the core vitals. And here, like you can see a lot of different things. Maybe Kristaps, you can explain what about pixels and code consistency. Where was it coming from? Like the third party.
Yes, so one thing is that we were like rebuilding the site, and as I mentioned before, we needed to keep everything working. So we were not able to do actual cleanup. So all the previous stuff, all the previous extensions, and all the customizations needed to stay there. Also, there were like a lot of personalization tools. I don't remember the name. Maybe Alex can help on that. But I know that you're using this Adobe tool.
Target.
Yeah, Adobe Target. So yeah, that was also a bit challenging for like that. Algolia was not willing to cooperate with the server, like client side rendering. So all those things was pretty challenging.
Okay, and is it going forward? Yeah. So we heard this, and we know that we are almost there with the core web vitals. And maybe Alex, you can share how are the goals of the project that were set? How are they achieved? The KPIs.
Yeah, so obviously we were not idealistic in terms of having 100 out of 100 score, because it's with such a complex sites, it's quite impossible, right? Within this time frame. But I think we've done we've achieved what we wanted to achieve, is to break through the ceiling that we had with old front end with Luma, where as much as you can optimize this JavaScript is going to drag it down, right? So it's no longer there. This old JavaScript is gone. We have amazing storefront right now that we really like, that is developer friendly, and we can just keep building on top of that. So from that perspective, yes. And then we have a plan on how to move the score even higher. And
yeah, so the plan, Kristaps, you mentioned all those things from technical perspective, pixels, widgets, code. So how are you addressing that?
Yeah, so one thing that we are actually now in progress, I hope that we would deploy that and see that success already in this stage, so we can share that. But unfortunately, this didn't go as planned. But one of the things that we are using to offload the load of pixels is using the Cloudflare Zara's tool that basically helps to offload the pixels from the site. You, instead of sending information to 40 different pixels. You are sending information to one place, and this Zaraz workers are sending out the information to all the pixels. So it helps to reduce some of the load. It's not possible for all the pixels, but it helps to remove something like 80%. That is one thing that we are working on. And another thing is that probably once this is finished, we need to work on refactoring and removing and stripping down some of the previous stuff that is left from the old site. Another thing is probably that we need to work on some page builder and widget functionalities to make it easier for marketing teams, and so they have tools that help to optimize the content while they are working it. But that's something that's probably for the future.
Okay, and just a question. We know that there are outcomes that are also visible, and like performance score improved. It is improved even if it isn't like passing the core vitals and everything. But maybe Alex, if you have to say it right now, would you say this project was success?
Yes, I think it definitely was success. So first, it enabled us to continue improving, as I just mentioned a few minutes ago. Second, it was quite noticeable performance boost from that chart, and also just even subjectively going to the sites. We were getting lots of complaints from an internal, from stakeholders and C-level. So we were always under pressure. So this pressure is gone now. So the site really feels better and much faster. And then one-page checkouts. I think I don't have numbers around conversion boost, but you all know that how easier it's to use that type of check.
Yeah, that is great to hear. And Alex, maybe you can also share your main learning points and things that you noticed in the project during this time that you would like also to share with the audience so they keep in mind.
Yes. So this is not the first complex projects that we've delivered. So as I mentioned, we're quite optimistic on the number of projects, and we've delivered the transformation, and that was another one that we added on top of everything. So there are quite a few things that I would share in terms of when you as a merchant start collaboration with system integrators, with companies like Magebit. What we've done from our side, we did a pretty extensive scoping exercise. So it's we needed to eliminate as much as possible any risks in terms of unknown unknowns, right? So we've done a very extensive go through every brand, every page, looking at every element, and then that actually informed the contract with Magebit. So the contract, we did the kind of subcontracts for each of the brand, and then in each subcontract we had all these features laid out, and that also was good for Magebit to make sure that they not getting themselves into something there like we suddenly say, oh, you have to deliver it now, this and that, and then also for us to predict the timeline for the project. So putting the timeline was the next thing, and informing our business partners that we support that here's when to expect and what to expect. And then we needed to align their plans, because it was mostly kind of technical initiative, if you will, right? Because on the front is only the performance, but they needed to do other projects like loyalty we implemented at the same time, or She Ready for giving better promotion experience and so on. So they needed to know how to fit all these initiatives into the timeline. So creating the timeline was the next thing. And then the process itself, how we were working with Magebit was also planned out. So we gave a dedicated environment to them, so we don't interfere our teams, their teams. We also created the transition plan for our team, because we have developers, but developers were not trained on Hyvä, so we needed to also strategically embed them into the project so they learn about, and then once the time comes to go live, they can support it seamlessly. So
That sounds already like a lot. So if you heard something you like or you want to know more about, you can also find us and ask about each step we covered. And Helen of Troy covered, Magebit covered afterwards. But yeah, Ina is already waving at us. But I just wanted to say that as I intentionally used word legendary at the beginning as our keynote speaker today also suggested, it was because of the stories that usually are legendary. Those are the most obstacles. Those are the ones that we remember, and you are here to witness that definitely this will be the battle that we will win, and very soon. So you will hear about it in our case study, which will have a lot of practical things for maybe for you as well to understand what to do and how to overcome each thing, because it never is as easy as it first seems. So thank you for being here with us, and yeah.